Hello, everyone. Uh, Good morning in to everyone in the Philippines. Good afternoon to everyone here in Australia, and good evening to some other parts of the world, especially in Europe and in America. So, before we start the webinar, let us have to check first about some technical issues about the Zoom. So, I would like to ask a few questions. Is everyone able to hear my voice? If there is somebody who has a technical issue, can you raise your hand so that we can try to help you out? And is anyone able to see me in the video? If anyone cannot see me, then you can raise your issue or you raise your concern. So before we proceed, we can have a smooth presentation for the next 2 hours. First and foremost, we are very grateful for your presence. There are already on record more than 200, actually 202 participants in this webinar. And we will begin at exactly 9:30 Philippine time, 12:30 Australian time, 12:30 in the afternoon. So we are handling this webinar as you observed the preliminary videos and the interview about Clean Water Act. We hope to deliver this successfully, and we would like to recognize the support of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Environmental Management Bureau for for their support in our efforts to really come up with compliance and sustainable compliance and in wastewater management in order to protect the waterways in the Philippines. So with that, without much ado, we will be starting in 5 minutes. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Engineer Cecil Cordoncito. I am here in Melbourne, Australia. It's 12:25 in the afternoon here in Melbourne, and in the Philippines it's 9:25. And with me here in this event is some of the presenters, and of course our recognized guests from the Environmental Management Bureau. I just like to request if about their account, about their presence, so that they will be recognized and we can call their names once we go through the program. So I expect that there are no more issues around, and I welcome you. I'm very happy to see many participants. We have upgraded our Zoom to reach up to 500, so anyone can really participate by registering the link to our website. And for those people who are still interested, you can invite them to register to the link in our. You can forward the links to your friends. So we have up to 500 participants limit in the Zoom. So we have upgraded our account to accommodate all of you to this very important event or webinar today. So far, we are already like 212 participants, and I would like to call my colleague, Engineer Sheila Rimondo, who is in Ilagan, Isabela. I would like to request to share your video. You open your video, and I would also like to request Engineer Anabeto Akot, who is in Cavite, to share your video if your data or your load is good. I hear that my run out dyan. So that we can in a few minutes, in 3 minutes time, we'll be able to start our our event. Okay, so again, welcome to this event, and we will be showing to you what we can as much as possible to help out the purpose of this webinar. This is titled Innovative Wastewater Management. This webinar is designed for both private industries and local governments. Not only local government units, but all other government agencies who have, you are some stakeholders about the Clean Water Act, and all other national government agencies. So I would like to request Engineer Sheila Raimundo to show or to share your video so that we can start so soon. So I can introduce uh, you. Okay, there you are. So if the director William Cunyado is already in Zoom, I would like to request also to share your video so that we will start and recognize you, sir. And also, of course, Assistant Director Bisminda Osorio, if you are around, please be recognized by opening up your video. Okay, so there you are, Engineer William Cunyado. Good morning, sir. And it's nice to see you again. Maraming salamat sa pagpaunlak at we hope that we will be successful today. So many participants are expecting to hear your message about particularly the compliance to the Clean Water Act. Okay, so welcome. And in few minutes we will be starting. If AD Minda is there, so kindly open your video so that we will be starting. All right. So without much ado, I would like to welcome everyone. First of all, as traditionally here in Australia, before we start any event, we normally recognize the traditional owners of the land in Australia, the Aboriginals. So we recognize them, the past, present, and the future, because they were the traditional owners of the land of the southern land of Australia. Then we also have to start by requesting Engineer Obit Akot to lead some prayers before we formally start the event or the webinar. Engineer Obit, can you start by having the
Yes,
prayers
I'm
with
here.
us? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. Okay.
Okay, so
Let us bow down our heads and experience the presence of God. Dear Lord, once again, we are gathered today to experience your greatness and love. We are thankful for the people who have put this event together.
I am so sorry for the technical problems. I think I was mentioning that an issue of internet issue in that place in Cavite. So let me proceed. So Engineer Obit has said our prayers, and we would like to continue to bow down our heads to the Lord and to give thanks for this day. Uh, okay, so let's start and welcome everyone to this webinar. This is the fourth of the series of webinar that we have conducted since during the pandemic. Starting last October, we have started this with Region 11, with the sponsorship also of the Region 11 Regional Director RD Sopi. And Then after that, we also conducted a webinar with the support of Region 10 in Cagayan de Oro under the regional director of Cagayan de Oro of Region 10 and also of the city of Cagayan de Oro. Then we have conducted also our own webinar supported with PCS, the group that about environmental assessments. And this is the biggest one because this is supported by no less than the Environmental Management Bureau Central Office, led by no less than the very able director, Engineer William Cunado. Thank you. And he is here around to support us and to give us inspirational thought and message about this event. So thank you, sir. With me here is Engineer Sheila Rimondo. Is based in Isabela. She will be presenting, and I will be introducing her later about her capability. So sorry, Sir Obet, your connection lost, but we already have finished the prayers. That's okay. So yesterday, the whole world celebrated yesterday, and even it's still today, March 22, in other parts of the world, like in Canada, the World Water Day. It was yesterday, it was a big event, and the theme of yesterday's World Water Day 2021 was valuing water. So the message in itself, valuing water, is water has value. But most people think that water is free. Now, the message in itself is valuing water. All of our presentation today, you will realize how valuable is water, how important is water, and how our responsibility to protect water would be the key to our success in protecting our waterways, especially in the Philippines. So today, we will be conducting a webinar called on innovative wastewater management. Much of or many of you are heard about wastewater treatment, how it's being done. There are so many players in this industry. We will try to come up with some innovative ways how to manage wastewater in order to protect our waterways. So the program for today is we are going to start. There was a presentation, a webinar was open as early as 8:30. There was that interview with me and Mang Tani Cruz of Channel 7. And there was some discussion about presentation about what happened to Boracay, what happened to the Laguna, to the Manila Bay, and this kind of programs. We were trying to share our experience and our what we thought about it from the point of being a practitioner in this field. So there was that at 8:30 to 9:30. If you missed that, we still can play that later on. Now we'll start with the welcoming address and opening remarks. If engineer or Bisminda Osorio is around, we would like to recognize her if she already uh, there sa ating Zoom link. Are you there, Eddie? If not, then we will be proceeding and we will just be recognizing her kung makapasok na siya sa webinar. But she mentioned that she's going to join us. Anyway, next in line, of course, is the main topic and main inspirational talk from no less than Engineer William P. Cunado, the Director of the Environmental Management Bureau Central Office. Then after this, I will be talking about the National Sewerage Septage Management Plan. And then later on, the comparison of different wastewater treatment technologies. And I will be presenting a breakthrough in wastewater treatment, which we have uncovered what we call incidentally during the pandemic. Then there will be a closing remarks. So I would like to apologize that our MC Rose Ballard, the director of Aquagym Environment, some other very important matters today and on the road, and eventually will not be able to be an MC. So with that, I would like to recognize Engineer William Cuñado. Are you ready to speak now? And just tell me, then you are there. I'll give the floor to you. Try to stop this hearing so that everyone can see Engineer William Cuñado. Is that okay, sir?
Yes, thank you very much, Cecil, for giving this an opportunity to elaborate our mandates, especially for the water. Uh, to our DNR Undersecretary for Field Operations and Environment, Attorney Juan Miguel Ticona. To our Assistant Director, Engineer Bisminda Osorio. To our guest and speaker from Aquagym Environment. Managing Director, Engineer Cecil Corlom Sito, Wastewater BD Manager, Engineer Naria Ilagan, and Director Rose Balod, fellow colleagues, a wonderful Tuesday morning to all of you. On behalf of the Environmental Management Bureau of the DNR, I would like to welcome all the participants to this webinar on water quality management. First of all, allow me to thank Aquagym Environment for organizing this activity. I think this is a right time for us because we are already focusing this activity in relation to the water management. Which in fact, if you can visit our website, we have already identified how many industries are compliant in relation to the Clean Water Act. Try to visit our website on www.emb.gov.ph and you will know the statistics of how many industries, local government units, and other establishments that contribute the wastewater discharge to our water bodies. This time, I would like to recognize that all participants are resource speaker for this event and try to visit our website. And you will have learned a lot in our website because we are trying to make our website an educational website. I'll be proud to see the group that before I became a Bureau Director of Environmental Management Bureau, our visitors for the website is 10,000 visitors per year. But now our visitors on website is 8,000 to 9,000 per day. So that means to say, we have a lot of visitors and our website is getting more interesting and more educational. So I'd like to encourage everyone, especially that we have already focused our websites, particularly on the compliance of the wastewater for the Clean Water Act. This webinar is a right time and an opportunity for us to will be more knowledgeable and will showcase the latest informations and the best technologies available in the field of water and the wastewater management for LGUs and industries. Wastewater or used water is also a resource, and if properly treated, it is a source of water for numerous uses. Let me elaborate on this. If you have visited Singapore, maybe Singapore has a limited supply of water, but they are using their wastewater as a source of their all usage of water after they have treated it very efficiently using their latest technology. And all the parameters that is required to have a quality water that is considered to be potable, it was attained under technology. Maybe this is high time and help us each other how we can also achieve the accomplishments of Singapore. Based on our regulations, on the latest guidelines we have, I believe that these guidelines will lead us to have a proper usage and treatments of our wastewater. So in line with that, I'm very welcome to Aquagym and very thankful to them for sharing their technologies, their expertise and knowledge to all the industries and local government unit. Thank you very much, Cecil, Coronado and company for doing this activity. It will help us to give us and guide us to all the LGUs and industries on how to fight to have a good and very quality wastewater treatment. Wastewater can have pollutants from residential, commercial, and industrial use, in which, if left untreated, can harm wildlife, can also contaminate crops and drinking water, affecting human health. An effective wastewater treatment allows the maximum amount of water to be reused instead of going to waste streams. Imagine if we have treated efficiently the water, and if we are going to dispose it to any water bodies, what do you think? Are we throwing our resources, or are we not using very effectively our water in relation to after that efficient treatment? In Cebu, I have already given some example, especially on Ayala development, that their wastewater treatment facilities, maybe 70 to 80% of their treated water has been recycled and used for different uses, for flushing, for watering of the plants, and others. So this will redound to a very good contributions in relation to deposit of our water bodies in aquifer, and we will have maximized the utilization of our treated water. I think this is the right time for us now that we have to look that the treated water will be recycled and be properly used instead of throwing it to some of our dirty water bodies. Look what is the logic if the clean water will be disposed to dirty water bodies. I don't need to elaborate for that, because first the clean water, when we dispose it to the dirty water, it will automatically become dirty and it becomes useless for us. That's why treating this water and then discharge it and dispose it to the dirty water bodies. Through wastewater treatment, the amount of waste that is normally discharged into an environment is diminished. By doing so, the government in turn reduce the health risks associated with environmental pollution and decrease the water loss induced to water pollution. These past years proved to be very challenging. However, we cannot just stop. When we have already done so much in our environment and water resource management, with or without pandemic, the overwhelming stress on our natural water resources has always been present. Let us remember, for every threat, there is an opportunity. The threat of this COVID-19 has given us the opportunity to rethink the way we do things and adapt to the new normal. The delivery of environmental services from solid waste, infectious, hazardous waste to water quality management has also proven to be even more challenging during this time. The complex problems brought about by this health crisis requires holistic solutions and integrated approach. As such, as one of the regulatory agencies on water quality protections and management in the Philippines, we advocate and encourage participative and interactive ways and solutions. To put forward or our mandates to regulate local government units and industries towards environmental compliance. With this webinar, we speak a heightened awareness on emerging water and wastewater treatment technologies, an increased compliance of local government units and industries to the water quality management standard. Through our strong support to endeavors such as this, reflect our commitment to achieve comprehensive water quality management in the Philippines. With the overwhelming response from participants and countless opportunities they will get after this webinar, I believe we can find the appropriate solution to our wastewater problems as soon as possible. Let us all continue to forge partnership and gear together to achieve a water-secure Philippines. I wish you all a lively and stimulating discussion. Thank you very much and good morning again.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat. So maraming salamat, Director Cuñado. It was a very timely and very appropriate message for all of us and all the participants here. Director Cuñado, if you don't mind, if you can stay further, there might be some question and answer later on, and they can ask some questions later on if it's okay with you. So let's proceed with the program now.
Cecil,
Yes,
can I
Sir
interrupt?
William.
Can we have a Photoshop first? Then I have to go another opening, and then I will go back. I'm very interested to join these activities.
Okay.
Because I have another opening to be done for the chemicals. So maybe can we have a Photoshop first? Then after that I will leave. Then I will go back after my delivery for another opening remarks to the other activities, please.
Sige po, I'll request our office, our IT to make the photo opportunities and make sure that everyone, if you want your video to be on the open, let's join Director Cuñado to have these photo opportunities, and let's so depende sa computer niyo yan kung makita lahat. Then now I have in my computer with me Director Cuñado, so I'll have to take picture of this one, share it to the social media, be proud that with the presence of Director Cuñado. Normally, napaka-busy si Director at pinaunlakan nila tayo. Maraming mga event yan and for the first time akong natutuwa na nandyan siya at long time no see, sir. Napunta ako dito, natanggong at nagkaroon ng matinding pandemic. But everyone, I'd like to tell the office to make a picture or photo opportunities and share, and we will share this to you later on. And thank you very much for those people who doesn't know, Director Cuñado, you be the Regional Director of Region 7. Kaya siya ay isang chemical engineer din, kaya alam ni Director Cuñado na kung ano itong mga wastewater, ano yung mga pollutant, at ngayon na nandyan na siya sa Central Office, a policy making office sa buong Pilipinas. Malamang na may umaasenso sa sinabi lang niya na ang website nila ngayon or sa EMB ay 8,000 per day, dati 10,000 per year. So ang laki. So I encourage everyone to really search the website of the EMB. It's very, very good, and I have seen how Cebu region was improved also through online, all this online thing. So with that, Director, thank you very much, and we hope to see you again kasi meron ka pang ibang, you have other events, you're a busy man, and
Yes.
we will proceed with this for the interest of time. We have to proceed with this presentation. Thank you very much, and I'll take pictures of my screen so that I will have this you know okay.
Okay.
So sir,
Thank you very much,
daghang
Cesar.
salamat sir.
I'll be back
Daghang salamat
after
sir.
my other event.
Uh, yeah, so I would like also to recognize one friend, sir, from Canada, and you will be surprised. Esterlito Pinlac in Canada is there. So I'm recognizing him joining us here. So natatawa si Director Cunyado na nandiyan si Mr. Pinlac used to be from LLDA at saka doon sa pollution yung makasamahan natin yan nung araw. Nandoon na successful sa Canada tungkol din sa water. So bye. Kumusta diyan? So without much ado, let me proceed. Let me proceed with the presentation. And the next in line is about we will be waiting for Engineer Miss AD Osorio Minda kung nandyan siya. But we have to proceed now. The next topic would be talking about the National Sewerage Septage Management Plan. I will be presenting this. Again, I would formally introduce myself. My name is Cecil Corloncito. I'm a chemical engineer also by profession. I have a master's in environmental engineering at the Melbourne University, and I have been working in this field for, I would say, 35 years na po. So I hope I will be able to share to you what we experience. So this is it. Our company, as mentioned, is Aquagem Environment Pty Limited. This is our logo. We've been here since 1997. I have founded this company in 1997. And if you will notice, Aquagem means aqua means water, gems means precious. So water is precious. So if you'll notice our logo, para siyang kumikinang na diamond. So the brown represents engineering. The round around here, you will see recycling opportunities. As mentioned by Director Cunyado, kailangan i-recycle ang tubig. So from dark water, it becomes good water. You can use and use it again. That's our logo. So without much ado, what is Aquagem Environment? Who are we? We are an environmental engineering and management firm. We are based in Melbourne, Australia. I'm here in Melbourne today. We have a trademark in Australia. Aquagem Environment is a protected name under the trademark. What are we doing? We offer different main services. We have 4 main services. What are those? We are consultants for ISO training and auditing, and we also help industries, government and private industries comply with legal obligations, environmental laws like the Clean Water Act. And of course, we design and we also build water and waste treatment facilities. Those are our main services. So examples of our consultancy services are the following. We are, of course, the consultant of the quality management systems for the DNR, Environmental Management Bureau, Central Office, under the auspices of Director Cunyado. We are their consultant for the recent success of their certification of both ISO 9000 and ISO 14000. Ano ba to? Quality Management System and Environmental Management System. DNR, EMB now walk the talk. They are managing the environment. They are certified to the international standard. Of course, we were the consultants of regions 2, 3, 6, and 10 on quality management system. We are also a consultant of environmental management system for the DNR. The DNR, hindi lang EMB, sa buong DNR, sa buong Pilipinas, sa central office. Kami ho yung consultant. And of course, EMB Central Office and EMB Region 2. The DNR is the first organization in Asia to garner that certification even before the standard was released. We were the Region 2 was the first regional office consultant of EMB to get the certification. Of course, EMB Central Office, I would like to mention to you, EMB Central Office is the first environmental regulators in the world to get the certification way back in 1999 or 2000 when the new standard was first released. We were also the consultant of the PCT study on sewerage, septage, and wastewater treatment for the protection of Lake Buhe in Region 5, EMB. We were the consultant of the sewerage, septage, and wastewater treatment protection for the protection of Calapan River in Mindoro, Region 4B. We are the consultant of the feasibility study for sewerage, septage, and treatment for the protection of the waters of Panglao Island, my home province in Bohol. And we are also the consultant of Bangon Marawi, 20 years solid waste management master plan for Bangon Marawi. So that's some of our examples, some of our pictures here. We were with Regional Director Abo of Region 5, the Lake Buhi, the smallest fish in the world, the home of the most perfect volcano in the world in Region 5. So we visited Manila Water para they were able to see what centralized wastewater treatment plant. We visited that way back in 2019. We produced this book for Lake Buhi Watershed National Sewerage and Septage Management Plan. We are a consultant of Bangon Marawi. Bangon Marawi or Marawi City was the victim of the seeds, and they are now in the recovery called Bangon Marawi. So we finished the consultancy on the solid waste management plan. So under the auspices of EMB Region 10. So yun, EMB Region 10 is also our client in quality management system. We were the consultant of Calapan or EMB Region 4B under RD Michael sa Calapan River for the protection of Calapan River sa Calapan City. So we conducted this feasibility study and we were able to finish that. This is the board meeting of the Calapan River Water Quality Management Board and EMB 4B in Mimaropa. Okay, so we are the consultant for the protection of waters of Panglao Island in Bohol, and with the leadership of local mayor Leonela Montero, and of course the local councilor on environment Noel Hormachuelos. So we are able to deliver just during the pandemic how to protect or the National Sewerage and Septage Management Plan for the municipality of Panglao. So there you are. That is our work. What were the scope of our feasibility study? So the scope of our feasibility study is we conduct technical and engineering design study for the septage, sewerage, and centralized wastewater treatment plant. We conduct financial analysis of the different technologies of the septage, sewerage, and wastewater infrastructure and sourcing of investors as well. We conduct environmental impact assessment of the infrastructure, including protecting of indigenous people and gender and sensitivity. That's part of the feasibility study. We conduct capacity building measures of how to manage, operate, and maintain the septage, sewerage, and centralized wastewater treatment plant. And we support the passage of municipal or city ordinance to capacitate local governments and to sustain the operations of the septage, sewerage. So those are our deliverables. Kung meron dyan mga LGU, we can help you do that. So these are some of the pictures of our treatment plants. Ito ang aming biggest wastewater treatment plant in the Philippines. 1.7 million liters per day of sugar mill wastewater treatment, the hardest wastewater in the world. Napakataas ng BOD, 90,000 BOD. So we're able to deliver, and fortunately, I would say fortunately, it has already passed the DNR standard and ongoing pa ang aming commissioning during that time. We have some pictures of hospital wastewater, mga maliliit, small wastewater treatment plants, like in Cooperative Hospital in Tagbilaran City. We have this picture. We have also the same in Cebu City, the Seaman Hospital in Cebu City. We have in Isabela United Doctors Medical Center. We have this kind of wastewater treatment, and recently we delivered the Slaughterhouse wastewater treatment plant in the municipality of Gindulman in Bohol. So those are just to mention a few of our projects, and that is just elaborating. Those are the services that we are offering. Now let's go to the topic of our National Sewerage and Sewage Management Plan. In Panglao, the percentage wastewater generation is 37% commercial in Panglao, Paramburato, 63% residential. You will notice that 63% of the wastewater came from residential houses and 37% came from commercial or industrial services. So you will notice that DNR only can run after the 37% kasi yun lang that is only their mandate. But if they run after 37%, 63% is not being protected, then the pollution is still happening. So this is an information to you that this is not only about commercial pollution, but also pollution coming from residential area. Okay, so what we do? So these are the significant pollutants of the new DNR standard. So I don't need to discuss what are these. These are chemical names, but these are the pollutants. I would just like to discuss about one, which is called BOD. BOD means pollutant, organic pollutant. Yung wastewater, the wastewater coming from this place is 300, but kailangan necessary to discharge to a waterway 30. So from 300, it should be 30. So you cannot throw this wastewater because it will cause pollution. It must be this quality. So you have ammonia, oil and grease, karamihan sa restaurant, nitrate and phosphate because of nutrients, surfactants, mga sabon, fecal coliform because of bacteria and viruses. Okay, now what do you mean by sewage management? So I would like to elaborate that business establishments, lahat ng business are required septic tank. You cannot build a building, you cannot build a house without septic tank. Before a building permit is issued under the building code, you must have a septic tank. Then old septic tanks, yung old septic tanks, wastewater percolates to the ground. Yung lumang mga septic tanks, the third chamber, it will percolate to the ground. And now the requirement is all septic tanks must be sealed, completely sealed. Wala nang mag-percolate to the ground. That's septic tank, by the way, is a primary wastewater treatment capable of removing 50%. So septic tank is a treatment plant capable of removing pollutant to 50%. So meaning it's important na mayroong septic tank because it is removing 50% of pollution. Domestic wastewater has 300 parts per million of milligrams of pollutant. So if it is 50%, then it will reduce to 150. Then the requirement of the Sanitation Code of the Philippines or the Water District Law, you must dislodge your septic tank every 5 years. That's mandatory. That's should be enforced by local government. Then sewage wastewater, yung sinipsip ng Malabanan, sinipsip ng kung sinong sinipsip, ay mayroong napakataas. There is a very high pollutant, which is 200,000 to 3,000 pollutants called BOD. So that is sewage. So sewage normally are suctioned and hauled by trucks like yung Malabanan sa Manila at yung iba pa. So this wastewater, if there is no wastewater treatment plant, then they are hauling and suctioning it from the place. Now there's no wastewater treatment plant where they are going to throw this. So it needs a sewage treatment plant. So if there's no sewage treatment plant, if there is no wastewater treatment plant, kung there is a suctioning, then it is going to be disposed somewhere. Nilipat lang yung pollution. Okay, that's about sewage. Now let's make an example so that you will understand what I'm saying. In Bohol, ang isang tourist, according to our study, can consume 180 liters per tourist per day. Yung isang turista consumes 180 liters. Maaksaya ang tubig. Now, if the hotel has 100 persons or 100 bed hotel, multiply that 180 liters per day, every day that hotel discharge or have 18,000 liters per day of water consumed. The water will not be kept. It must be discharged or it must be thrown away. 18,000 liters per day, for example, in that hotel. Or 18 cubic meter per day. Kasi one cubic meter is 1,000 liter. So if you look at this, if this is a septic tank ito, first chamber, second chamber, third chamber, if a septic tank, the water comes in, for example, this septic tank has a dimension of length of 3 meters, width by 2 meters, and height by 1.5 meters. Pag you are calculating this 3 times 2 times 1.5, you will notice that the volume is 9 cubic meter. Every day you are producing 18 cubic meter this hotel. So meaning, in 2 days, mapupuno, you are filling up the septic tank. Okay? So it's not true na, I have septic tank. The hotel cannot keep this water because water cannot, hindi mapuga yung water. Water is incompressible. So 9 cubic meter only as opposed to 18 cubic meter ang per day. So ibig sabihin, kalahating araw lang, puno na to. So in half a day or 12 hours, the septic tank is filled. Now, what happened is that when water comes in, so it fills the first chamber, it goes to the second chamber, then it goes to the third chamber, and of course, it will overflow. So what comes in, comes out. Pag puno na yan, kasi puno na yan araw-araw, then it will come out. So take note that what comes out, pollutant is 300. Remember, I told you pollutant is 300. So if it is 50% pollutant removal in septic tank, so 300, it will throw 50%. So what happened? Kung 50% of pollutant is gone, then what come out is 150 ppm. So 150 will come out from the septic tank, pero ang DNR standard is 30 lang. So don't tell me that you have septic tank, you pass already, you are still polluting. So in short, it doesn't comply. The septic tank alone cannot comply with the DNR standard. Okay, sabi ng Clean Water Act, says it requires that wastewater discharge is equal to beneficial use or water body classification. What do you mean by that? If you discharge water, you must discharge the same quality of water to the use of that receiving water. For example, in Panglao is a water body that people swim. If you swim to that place, it's classified as Class B. And Class B means you have to follow Class B. So if it is 150 yung galing septic tank, you are polluting the waters of Panglao the same way as in other places. Now, what are we going to do? 150. You must have a wastewater treatment plant in order to make it 30 to 50 parts per million of pollutant. As simple as that. You need a wastewater treatment plant. Okay. You need wastewater treatment plant to be discharged for Class C or to Class B to marine or inland water. This is what the Clean Water Act says. This is what Director Cunyado says to you earlier. Okay, so what is the solution? This is what we call the sewerage and septage management. Ano ba to? Sewerage is reticulation or conveyance networks. It could be combined storm and sewerage system or standalone conventional sewerage, meaning Sewerage is when you have septic tank, if there is a sewerage system, then you have to connect to the sewerage system. Now, in the Philippines, there are only very few sewerage systems. Most of the sewerage system are in mga residential, mga condominium houses or mga developments, yung mga bagong property development. Now, the discharges from septic system can be connected to the sewerage. The sewerage will flow to a centralized wastewater treatment plant to meet the parameters required by the DNR. Industrial wastewater must be pre-treated to meet the centralized wastewater treatment criteria in order to connect to a sewerage network. Septage, take note, septage can still be treated to a centralized wastewater treatment plant with sludge primary treatment. It will be hauled by suction trucks directly to the centralized, or it should be discharged to the nearest manhole or sewage pumping station in a sewerage network. This is what we call a proper sewerage and treatment management system. It's a combination of sewerage and septage. Now, these are the facts. On-site wastewater source, centralized wastewater. On-site, meaning kanya-kanyang wastewater versus centralized wastewater. Sewerage septage with centralized wastewater is more effective to protect waterways than on-site wastewater treatment plant. It is cheaper to connect to a sewerage than to build your own wastewater treatment plant. Now, however, sewerage networks and centralized wastewater treatment plant is not a clear requirement in the Clean Water Act of the Philippines. Unfortunately, there is no mandate that says you must have a centralized wastewater treatment plant. Ang sinabi lang ng Clean Water Act, you must connect to a sewerage network. Nauna na ang kabayo kay sa Tartanilla or sa Karawahe. There is no sewerage network where to connect. So that is the problem. The problem now is everyone must follow and must have their on-site wastewater treatment plant. Now, the problem with that is when you have your own wastewater treatment plant, then it's also expensive to run this wastewater treatment plant. So that is the problem. Even if you buy a wastewater treatment plant, that is also expensive, you have to run them. Para bang bumili ka ng kotse, you have to put gasoline so that it will run. Now, most of my clients, if I will not be posting some of them, build a wastewater treatment plant because they have already been issued cease and desist order by the DNR. Bibili sila ng wastewater treatment plant, but pinapaandar lang nila kung nandiyan yung DNR. Pinapatay kung wala ang DNR because it's expensive to run this wastewater treatment plant. So that's why, in order to make sure that it's cheaper, there should be a sewerage network. You just connect them, and when you connect them, you have to pay for every volume that is treated. The problem also with Clean Water Act, there is no volumetric threshold sa Clean Water Act, meaning everyone from smallest sari-sari store to the biggest plant, kailangan habulin ng EMB. That's the problem of EMB now because that's their mandate. On-site wastewater treatment plant is required by DNR in every commercial establishment. Household domestic sewage is not regulated by DNR. So remember, I told you 37% lang ang commercial, but ang hinahol 37%. Household domestic sewage is not regulated by DNR, but is regulated by the local government unit under the National Sewerage and Septage Management Plan in cooperation with DPWH and DOH. That's Section 7 to 8 of the Clean Water Act. So meaning, the EMB should close a local government who is not following Section 7 to 8 of the Clean Water Act in order to protect. Di ba ang mandate ng EMB ni Director Cunyado is to protect the waterways? And 37 lang yung hinahabol nila. Then how about the LGU? Are they going to run after the LGU? This is the biggest problem in defense because I have not seen an LGU being closed for not following the Clean Water Act. I hope it will come soon. Okay. So the LGU has other powers. Hindi lang EMB ang mayroong power. The local government under RA 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code, is mandated to protect the environment. So they can issue ordinance to have a mandatory connection to a sewerage network to make sure that they comply with Section 7 to 8 of the Clean Water Act. This is the key for the LGU. And Panglao municipality is leading the way because they have already the National Sewerage and Septage Management Plan that later on they come up with an ordinance. May ordinance na sa Boracay, hindi sinunod. Sabi ko sa Panglao, you must make sure that this will be complied properly in order to protect the pristine water of Panglao Island. Okay, so with that, that's my explanation to everyone, because this is how we should be able to manage to protect our waterways in the Philippines. And Aquagem Environment is sharing our experience here in Australia. In Australia, there is no such thing as individual wastewater treatment plant. All are centralized sewerage network. But the problem with centralized sewerage network is it's very expensive to put up a sewerage network. But under the law of Clean Water Act, 50% will be shouldered by the national government to put up a sewerage network as long as there is a national sewerage and septage management plan. So yung Panglao ay meron na, yung ibang region like yung Lake Buhi na sinasabi ko, meron na yung Calapan is one of them, and some other places that has already this one. So they should be able to put up this infrastructure in order for every volume of wastewater to be treated. Okay. Dito sa Panglao, this is the infrastructure cost. The cost is more than 1 billion to put up sewerage and wastewater treatment plant. And the biggest cost is in the sewerage. So the wastewater would cost 300 million. The sewerage network to connect to all sewage or pollutive substances is one. So who will finance this? In Panglao Island, they have already awarded to an investor who will put up this facility. And very soon, it will be there. So that's the success story. And I hope, because they have already awarded to the investor. Okay. This is the survey that we have done. Willingness to pay. Sabi ng residential area, mga residents na aming sinorvey, part of our feasibility study is, are you willing to pay? Or willingness to pay? Are you willing to, to support wastewater treatment infrastructure? Sabi ng residential area, yes, 82%. Commercial area said 72% yes. Are you willing to pay for wastewater treatment infrastructure? Most of the residential area says yes, but commercial establishment don't know. Maybe they don't want to pay. Maybe they have their own wastewater treatment plant. But with the passage of city or of the municipal ordinance, they have to comply. Now, this is one example why I say it's cheaper to connect than to buy your own STP. So the case study, for example, has 50 room. Yung binigay kong example. 50 room hotel. Wastewater treatment plant, 100 person, and every room 2 persons. So 18 cubic meter. The daily fee for that hotel is 1,254 to connect to a sewer. The monthly fee times 30, 37,000. The yearly fee of that hotel is almost 500,000, 457,000 to connect to a sewer. This is a payment to the investor of a wastewater central water treatment. Now, if you're going to buy, or that hotel is buying their own STP, so you have to buy your own STP normally at 18 cubic meter per day STP, or 20 to summarize, to round up. 3 million pesos ang STP na gumagana ha. There are many STPs na gumagana, but I'm telling you, STP could cost 3 million. May OPEX pa yan, operating cost 1.7 million per year. So the break-even point comparing this cost and to connect is 10.36 years. So if you are going to buy your own STP, comparing to connecting, you have an ROI of 10.36. That's too long. So if I am the owner of a hotel, I have to connect to a centralized wastewater treatment facility. That would be easier. Plus, I don't have problem anymore to run the system. That should be the proper way to manage it. Now, in Panglao, we conducted several technology assessment. Ito yung sinasabi ni Director Cunyado that we have to know what are the technology. So we have conducted a multi-criteria analysis based on 4 different technology plus 1 technology that was offered by the investor. So we classified by the layout. Can it pass DNR standard? It has low energy consumption, low chemical consumption, ease of operation, more than 10 installation listed in journals and handbook the technology, and we also assess their capability in terms of what's this? Hold on. In terms of process stability. So we have conducted this based on the information that we have on these 4 different technology plus this technology brought by the investor. It turned out that we have recommended this technology, MLA technology, and this MBR because they have the highest rating. This is one way of making an assessment. Now, the thing is that we need to make sure that that technology works. So aside from multi-criteria analysis, we conducted a financial analysis. The financial analysis conducted is we selected based also on capital expense, not only on capital expense, but on operational expense. So if you will notice, the 5 technologies, ito yung millions of pesos na cost ng different technologies based on the cost estimates or the BOQ, the bill of quantity of this technology. So the cheapest of this technology is the sequential batch reactor. But the most expensive of this technology is the latest technology, which is the biocleaner technology. But the operational expense, the cheapest is the biocleaner technology. So if you are going to conduct financial analysis based on capital expense and operational expense, it will look like this. In the first year of operation, it's still good to buy this technology. This naka-green, 69 million. The second year, 101 million. The third year, 133 million of operation. And that particular works in Panglao. But on the third or fourth year of operation, because biocleaner technology has the lowest operating cost, it will show that over the long term, the biocleaner, that technology, the new technology is the one that would surpass the cost, or meaning the minimum cost of operation comparing to other technology. So this is what we call an analysis, the financial analysis on top of the multi-criteria analysis in order to select what kind of technology we are going to use in your needs. So with that, I'm going to give you my colleague about the comparison of different wastewater treatment technologies. So I would like to introduce to you our colleague. She is a chemical engineer by profession. She used to be working at Coca-Cola in Isabela. She joined Aquagem in last 3 years ago. She was one of the main engineers who were able to deliver during the pandemic our projects for the Bangon Marawi. And currently, she is the one doing environmental impact assessment works for our water projects in Bohol. And she is a chemical engineer by profession. She's young but very energetic and very successful in her field and very interesting. She is taking up Masters of Environmental Engineering at the University of the Philippines. And let's welcome Engineer Sheila Rimo to provide you the presentation on the comparison of different wastewater treatment technology. Take it away, Sheila. Go ahead, Sheila.
All right, good morning everyone. I would like just to check if you can hear me clearly po.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you clearly. And
Okay, so good morning again everyone. I'm Sheila Raimundo and I'm working at Aquaject Environmental Consultancy Services. And today I will be presenting about the comparisons of the different wastewater treatment technologies used here in the Philippines. So I will just share my screen. Okay, so for this presentation, the following are the key points to be discussed. First, I will be giving a brief overview about the different wastewater treatment processes. Then I will give you the various wastewater technologies. And after that, I will be discussing about the feasibility studies which we have conducted in Panglao in terms of their operational cost and its performance capability in passing the environmental laws and effluent standards. So, in the Philippines, there are several environmental laws in place with the intent of protecting the environment and help people in their pursuit of a sustainable and healthful ecology. So, the environmental law that aims to protect our water bodies is the RE 9275, or known as the Clean Water Act of 2004. So this law provides for a comprehensive and integrated strategy and guidelines to prevent and minimize the pollution in our water bodies. So example are the discharge permit and the requirement to establish a sewage or wastewater treatment plant are just some of the mandates of the Clean Water Act. So basically, we know that the wastewater is defined as the used water or liquid generated by humans due to various daily activities that if domestic, it comes from our toilets, our sinks, and if it is industrial, it came from our discharge or drainage. And if this wastewater are discharged that are not untreated, it will cause some environmental effects like water pollution. And we know that water pollution is a result when contaminants are introduced into the natural environment, which causes the disruption of aquatic systems. And we know that wastewater also consists of pathogens or disease causing bacteria, which may be carried for drinking water, which causes harm to humans and animals. And other disadvantages are the water scarcity, the loss of biodiversity, and climate change. So you may ask, how does a wastewater treatment work? So a typical wastewater treatment plant, as shown in your screen, is divided into four levels of treatment, which include the preliminary treatment, the primary treatment, the secondary treatment, tertiary treatment, which involves a combination of physical, chemical, and biological processes and operations. So I will be going to discuss how it works for treatment unit process. So initially, our raw wastewater discharge is coming from the toilet or sinks, contains large solids and grit that can interfere with the treatment process or can cause damage on mechanical equipment. So to minimize the potential problems, the wastewater needs to undergo a preliminary treatment. And preliminary treatment consists of screening, grit removal, and flow equalization. So the screening is the first unit operation in a wastewater treatment plant. And its objective is to remove discards and large solids such as paper, rags, plastics, and metals found in raw wastewater. So after which, it will flow into the flow equalization tank. And this tank, usually aerated, acts as a buffer to homogenize fluctuating quality and flow conditions of wastewater before going to succeeding treatment processes. Then after which, the wastewater is being pumped into the primary settling tank or the primary treatment where the flow velocity is low. So it then allows the settleable solids to settle by gravity and separates from the liquid. So the settled solids is called the sludge and the clarified liquid is called the supernatant. So the settled solids, known as sludge, is being wasted and normally removed from the bottom by using sludge rakes that scrapes the sludge to a drainage well from which it is pumped to the sludge processing units. On the other hand, the floating solids in the settling tanks are called the scum, and it's being collected by mechanical means and is also being pumped to sludge processing units. So in general, this primary treatment has about 50% of the suspended solids, 25 to 50% BOD5, about 10 to 20% of the organic nitrogen, and about 10% of phosphorus removal in this process. And its removal capacity of primary settling tank can be also increased by adding coagulation, flocculation upstream, or by using filtration downstream or sedimentation tanks. Meanwhile, the clarified liquid or the supernatant from the primary treatment will go to the secondary treatment, which involves the biological aeration. So this biological aeration, I call this as the heart of the wastewater treatment process because it has living microorganisms or what we call the good bacteria, which this eats, this microorganism degrades or eat the organic contaminants found in our wastewater. So this aeration tank is supplied by oxygen using diffusers or air blowers. So following the aeration process, the microorganisms are separated from the liquid by sedimentation in the secondary clarifier. And these microorganisms are known as the activated sludge will then settle in the clarifier and can be returned as the returned activated sludge or what we call the RAS. Or it can be also wasted as waste activated sludge or what we call the WAS, and it depends on the state of wastewater or microorganisms in the aeration tank. So you may ask, this treatment typically removes 85 to 90% removal of BOD5 and suspended solids of the raw wastewater when coupled with primary sedimentation. After which, the secondary effluent from our secondary clarifier will now flow by gravity into the disinfection tanks. So this tank is dosed commonly by chlorine, but other plants use UV sterilizer. Like in our some of our projects, we use UV sterilizer, and we know that this UV sterilizer used waves or has lamps that produces short waves that can kill bacteria, viruses, and other microorganisms. So after this infection, the effluent, which is now considered as clean water, is now ready to be discharged to receiving water bodies. And meanwhile, those waste-activated sludge will be pumped to sludge dewatering equipment for sludge conditioning, which may be used further as fertilizers and soil compost. Now we will go further in discussing about the four various wastewater technologies and its comparison with each other in terms mainly of the configuration of its biological aeration tank. Let me start with the conventional activated sludge or the CAS. So the CAS contains the complete typical wastewater treatment unit processes, where the influent will flow to the screening and primary clarifier prior going to the biological aeration tank. So here in the CAS, the biological aeration tank consists of microorganisms which interacts with wastewater, and it is also provided with oxygen, which is supplied by air blowers, as I mentioned a while ago. So this is what we call the mixed liquid suspended solids. So the treated effluent from the aeration tank will now overflow to the secondary clarifier to settle the sludge or the solids. Meanwhile, the settled sludge from the secondary clarifier is also called the rust, as I mentioned a while ago, and the settled solids, or called the waste activated sludge, will go to the sludge holding tank, and then it will proceed to the thickener and the watering plants. So sometimes polymer are added for the polymer are added for the sludge to be thickened and for proper separation of solids from the liquid. And this other solid waste from this screening will also be hauled and for proper disposal. Next technology is the moving bed bioreactor. So the moving bed bioreactor, okay, so moving on, the moving bed bioreactor, as you can see, the primary clarifier is eliminated in this treatment process because the biological aeration tank has these carriers or media, which is designed to provide the perfect surface for microorganisms to thrive, enabling them to accommodate more suspended solids for them to degrade. These pieces form a biofilm that provides increased microbial population, increased solids removal, and low sludge production. So same with gas, the settled activated sludge from the secondary settling tank can also be returned to the aeration tank to increase or maintain the microbial population, while the waste is collected for sludge treatment and disposal. Next technology, sorry, okay, sorry for that. So next technology I will be discussing is the sequential batch reactor or the SBR. We know that the SBR is the most usually installed technology here in the Philippines. Basically, this process has a screening and primary clarifier prior to the biological aeration. Then after the aeration tank, as you can see, the treated effluent will directly now flow to the disinfection tank and then being discharged into the environment. In this system, the wastewater is added to a single batch reactor. So, um, as the name implies, it is a batch reactor. It is not continuous. And it has an operation based on the fill and draw principle. So, you can see here in my screen, nasa loob po siya ng red box. And it has 5 basic steps, which are the fill, react, settle, draw, and idle, which you can see here nga po sa screen ko. During the filling stage, the wastewater enters a partially filled reactor containing an activated sludge, which was accumulated in the preceding cycles. Then once the reactor is full, it will undergo to the react stage, which it behaves like a conventional activated sludge. So dito po magmi-mix yung mga activated microorganisms and the wastewater. And then after that, the aeration and mixing is turned off to allow the solids to settle, which is also the same as the secondary settling tank. Then at last stage, the treated supernatant will be separated from the solids through the decanter, which will then flow next to disinfection tanks. So the waste sludge from the first and second settling tanks are again being collected and treated, same with the process discussed from the cask process. So the next technology is the membrane bioreactor. So this membrane bioreactor is a treatment process where the wastewater is passed through a semi-permeable membrane where it is a material that allows various particles to either flow through or be trapped by the membrane. So you'll notice that here in this process, na-eliminate na po ang primary and secondary clarifier because of the inclusion of the membrane bioreactor. So the system utilizes these membranes with coarse bubble aeration for mixing. So the process differs from the conventional treatment in that separation of solids is not done by settling tanks, but instead by a membrane filtration, which can be sometimes microfiltration or ultrafiltration. So microfiltration membranes range from zero point 0.1 to 10 micrometers, while ultrafiltration ranges from zero point 0.1 to zero point zero 0.01 micrometers. So from the membrane, there's also a return sludge for the replenishment of microorganisms into the aeration tank. So the system generates two streams, which is the permeate or the liquid, which has passed through the membrane, and the other is the concentrate. So the permeate is the one which will flow to the disinfection tank prior to its discharge in the environment. So in the cleaning of these membranes, it is accomplished by frequent permeate backpulsing and backwashing. Backwashing is a kind of reverse flow cleaning where a flow of clean water is pumped back through the membrane from the permeate side, thereby lifting the foulants from the membrane surface and reducing its concentration. So because of the pore size and selectivity of this membrane or this membrane bioreactor, the MBR is capable of yielding the highest quality effluent compared to the previously discussed technologies. Okay, moving on, I would like to share to you the feasibility study that Aquagen has conducted. So last August 2020, Aquagen has conducted a feasibility study for the construction of its centralized wastewater treatment plant for domestic and commercial discharges in Panglao, Bohol. The treatment plant has a projected total maximum capacity of 5 million liters per day. And Aquagen did a design for its phase 1 with a volume of 1 million liters per day. And as part of this study, these wastewater treatment technologies that I have discussed a while ago were being considered in terms of its operational, financial, environmental, and social aspects. So aside from these technologies, biocleaner technology was also considered since Aquagen is always on the lookout for new, innovative, emerging technology currently available in the market. So Sir Cecil Corlancito will explain in detail later about the biocleaner technology. For now, I will be sharing to you the multi-criteria analysis that we have used and the results. So going further, Aquagen have used this multi-criteria analysis to evaluate each technologies according to performance capability, which are shown on your screen, which is essential in selecting and before investing in a wastewater treatment technology that can satisfy the requirement or standard of the Panglao wastewater treatment plant design. So as you can see, both CAS and MBBR garnered the highest rank based on the multi-criteria analysis, while the biocleaner came in last due to not meeting the standard on being listed as technology in wastewater treatment plant journals and handbook, and also on scoring low in low footprints and installations. However, aside from the multi-criteria analysis, from the mul- another important factors considered were the investment and cost implementations of each technology. So in terms of area or footprint, you will notice that the MBR has the smallest land area requirement. However, it comes second to the highest or having the highest capital expenditure needed next to the biocleaner technology. On the contrary, the biocleaner technology has the lowest operational expenditure requirement, that is without recycling. But if we consider recycling based on the class of effluent after treatment, which is for Class C, it is for non-contact activities such as fishing, boating, and irrigation. Class B for primary contact recreation such as swimming and bathing, and Class A for public water supply. So you will see that the highest savings would be on the MBR for 38 million pesos. On the other hand, if you consider the OPEX, the biocleaner technology still provides the lowest operational cost at 3 million pesos. Moreover, despite that the MBR or the membrane bioreactor technology can achieve a Class A effluent, it is too much for the Class B requirement of the Panglao receiving bodies, meaning the overtreatment just translates to additional expenses. In addition, although the CAS and MBR technologies rank the highest in the MCA and show notable advantages in terms of area and capex, the results of the financial analysis study show that the biocleaner technology has still the shortest return of investment or ROI. And despite its high area and capex requirement, the savings we can get from its very low annual OPEX compensates for the initial investment. And even if it ranked low in the MCA because of not being listed in technical references, we are still welcoming and would want to try emerging technologies, especially if it can show or provide us significant technological development and benefits. So in summary, sorry, the CAS is the typical wastewater treatment we are using, and SBR, it is the most installed wastewater treatment here in the Philippines, but sometimes because of its small footprint, sometimes it is prone of being choked or prone siya sa na it is being choked kasi maliit lang yung footprint niya, so nabibilaunan siya sometimes. And then the MBR, it can give you the high affluent standards, but it is too expensive. And MBBR, it uses carriers or media to increase design capacity. And biocleaner technology, it is not yet listed in any technical references but guarantees the lowest operational expenses. So if you also have wastewater treatment requirements, we would love to also extend our expertise to you to assist you in your environmental compliance requirements. Should you need more information about us and our services, you may reach us through the following. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm hoping that I was able to enlighten and impart my knowledge to you.
So there are still 250 participants, and I think Director Conyado is still there. So let me proceed with the presentation after the comparison of different wastewater treatment technologies. I would suggest that if you have question, you use the chat form, the chat on the in the medium. We will be going back to the chat and we'll be answering this question after before we during the question and answer portion. So Sheila was mentioning four technologies. The four technologies mentioned were standard technologies. I would like to repeat what are those. The conventional activated sludge that are being used normally. We have several installations of this one. The other one is the sequential batch reactor. This is the most commonly used treatment plant, sewage treatment plant in the Philippines because they have a very small footprint. And this has been used mostly in Europe. It's called batch process. So in the Philippines, it's a 24/7 country. Using a batch process could sometimes have a problem, but there is already emerging improvement for sequential batch reactors. So SBR is a batch process. You have to wait for the waste to fill up before you are going to treat it batch by batch. The other technology mentioned by Sheila was the MBBR, the moving bed bioreactor. So that's used for very small area. Instead of making the tank big, you have to put the plastic media in order for the bacteria to grow more, double or triple the bacteria. And the last technology mentioned by Sheila was MBR, the membrane. Now it's using membrane, more expensive membrane can be producing a better quality of water, but could be more expensive. And that is usually used when there is recycling opportunity. Now Sheila was mentioning about the biocleaner technology. Let me explain to you further about this emerging technology. This is why we call this topic is an innovative wastewater treatment, wastewater management. So biocleaner technology is from Biocleaner America. This is based on Monterey Park, California. So during our feasibility studies in Panglao, we only normally do the four kinds of technology. Then the investor came up with this technology, and I was saying prior to the pandemic, there is no way that that technology can work. So, but the investor insists that this is a technology that has already have several installation. So we met some of the people involved of this technology, and because of the pandemic, I was able to conduct a research and found out the inventor of this technology in California. So the inventor I was able to connect, then I was able to understand why their technology works. Then I will be explaining how this technology works by comparing this technology to other technology. During the process of discussion and training that I conducted during the pandemic, I would say I was very thankful to the pandemic because not because of COVID, we were not able to search and discover this technology formally. But because of that, we were able to discover them and even was being issued an official representative of this technology here in Australia. So we were issued as the appointed as representative of this technology, emerging technology in Australia. But since we have clients in the Philippines and we are going to implementing this kind of different technologies, then we are able to present or come up with this project in the Philippines. So this is a revolutionary. We call this a revolutionary wastewater treatment technology. It has extremely low electricity. 90% of the normal treatment electricity consumption is eliminated. Then another one, surprising, it does not produce solids. All the solids are gone. Another one is this can treat all kinds of wastewater, and it has very easy maintenance, almost zero downtime. This is a US patented technology with built-in microbe. So this is the only technology na may kasamang built-in microbe. The other technologies mentioned by Sheila does not come with microbe, but this technology has the patented microbe colony. This microbe will eat up, will devour all dead matter, solid waste in polluted waterways and wastewater to become clean water. There's no more sludge management required, no biosolids byproduct. So this Aquagem environment is now the appointed representative of this technology in Australia. So what is this technology? How does it work? So hold your breath. Why this technology is innovative and revolutionary? Now, this was presented by Sheila. I present it this way. So normally, if you are selecting a technology, there is what we call primary treatment or preliminary treatment. There is this aeration process, which is the secondary treatment. And of course, there is this chlorination or disinfection process, which is the tertiary treatment. The clarifiers are in order to separate the solids from the liquid. And it must be managed in a sludge thickening or sludge management process, which can be dewatered. So if you look at the process flow, when wastewater comes in, solid waste must be removed, coarse solids must be removed, fine solids must be screened, oil and grease must be removed. Then the smallest solids must be further settled, and the overflow wastewater must be aerated in order for the bacteria in the wastewater, the good bacteria, because itong wastewater natin coming from sewage has good and bad bacteria. So when it goes to aeration tank, we make sure that that bacteria will not die. I would like to emphasize that sewage treatment plant is not killing the bacteria, but making the bacteria, the good bacteria, grow in the aeration tank. So when you say good bacteria, it's called aerobic bacteria. When it says aerobic bacteria, it means that it depends on air to breathe. So the aerobic bacteria must live and must stay in the aeration tank. What is the purpose of the aeration of the bacteria? The bacteria will be the one who will do like Pac-Man or siya yung kakain sa lahat ng waste na pumasok, lahat ng solid waste, all the solid waste and wastewater, the bacteria will eat them up in the aeration system. That's why we make sure that the bacteria is strong and will grow, so that we have to put air in the aeration tank for them to breathe and grow and eat all the incoming. Parang tao tayo. Pag wala tayong hangin, if we don't have air, then we are weak and we cannot work anymore. The bacteria is the worker in the sewage treatment plant. Without the bacteria, there is no such thing as sewage treatment plant. So again, without the bacteria, there is no such thing as sewage treatment plant. Sewage treatment plant is different from industrial wastewater treatment plant. Sewage treatment plant mainly eats up biological waste coming from sewage or domestic wastewater, and coming from biological wastewater like food industry and sugar industry and different kinds of industry. Chemical industry cannot be treated in a sewage treatment plant. It must be treated in a chemical process. So what we are talking here is an aeration sewage treatment plant that the bacteria should grow. Okay, so the bacteria should stay here, but in the chlorine contact tank, all remaining bacteria must be killed before it is disposed. So take note, the bacteria is important in the sewage treatment plant, but we don't want the bacteria to be disposed in the waterways. Bakit? Because the same bacteria can cause coliform, fecal coliform, E. coli, or can pollute the water. So we need the good bacteria in the treatment plant, but we don't need that bacteria to be disposed. I hope it's very clear to everyone. So that is the reason why we need to understand when you select what kind of technology you're going to use. Don't just rely on sales talk, but you need to understand what kind of treatment process. So Sheila was able to discuss that one, that that I'm going to discuss the PIP technology that we found and incidentally discovered during the pandemic. This technology now, this technology removes the primary clarifier. Oh, so there's no more primary clarifier. This technology removes the secondary clarifier. This technology removes the sludge holding tank, the sludge dewatering equipment. So if you look at this, so if you are going to remove the clarifier, if you are going to remove the sludge management treatment, meaning that this technology does not produce solids or sludge. Oh, this is going to be very interesting as the future of wastewater or domestic solid waste or wastewater management. So hold your breath. Why we have to remove this clarifier? Why you have to remove some of this? Because this will be replaced by this emerging new technology. It's not really new. There are already installation of this. I have investigated this, and will be replaced by this biocleaner technology. And what happened is the wastewater coming from biocleaner technology goes directly to the disinfection process and can be discharged without necessarily passing through clarifier or separation technology or solid and liquid separation technology. Now, this is the final flow diagram of this technology. As simple as removal of the solids from the beginning and also removal of the oil and grease. But what we need only is the anaerobic tank, meaning a tank that should devoid of any air, and the tank for biocleaner that must have air. So the bacteria in this particular technology is both anaerobic and aerobic, and is sometimes called facultative bacteria. Okay, so I'm not a microbiologist. I'm just a chemical engineer, but I will not be explaining that process. But this is now I'm presenting to you a simple process flow diagram of the biocleaner technology. How does it work? This is how it looks like. So this is just how it looks like. It, if you look at this, there are numbering. One is the aerogrid. Number 6 is the air blower. This particular picture is designed to treat 300 cubic meter per day of wastewater. 300 cubic meter per day means 300,000 liters of wastewater. And you will notice that there is an air blower of 1.75 kilowatt. Take note of that. For normal other technologies mentioned by Sheila, the air blower requirement for those technology, all 4 technology requires at least 15 to 20 kilowatt of air blower. But this one only use 1.7 kilowatts. So that's 90% less kuryente or electricity for the air blower. So this air will go to the aerogrid, will connect to the biotube, and this is the hole made. So there is a floater, so it floats in the surface. It's made of fiberglass, and this is called the biocleaner technology, a patented technology with green patent rating A using microbial remediation. So this technology is not new, but the process is using the patented microbial remediation. So what do you mean by microbial remediation? So let's take note the biotube. So the biotube, in the next slide, what is inside this biotube? Inside this biotube, on your right side of the screen, are the pellets. Inside the biotube are the pellets. The pellets is where the bacteria lives, and it is sleeping or hibernating. Once the bacteria is not yet in water, it is sleeping and hibernating in the biotube. Once it comes in contact in water, they will be awakened in their deep slumber of hibernation and starts to grow and devour all dead matters. So these are called microbes. And these microbes, don't be afraid about these microbes. They are rated as biosafety level 1, meaning they are not dangerous to human being. They are not dangerous to the environment. So these are microbe consortium that are facultative in nature that can thrive in both anaerobic and aerobic environment. So these are biosafety level 1. I'm telling you what is biosafety level. Biosafety level 1 is not harmful to the environment and to human being. Biosafety level 2 is quite harmful to flora and fauna. Biosafety level 3 could be harmful to people. Biosafety level 4 could be like COVID, is harmful to people. Biosafety level 5 could be anthrax, both harmful to the environment and to people and are destructive. So these are microbes that are biosafety level 1. Okay, how does it work? So you will be asking, how does it work? So that small aeration, it will push the bacteria into a laminar flow. What do you mean by laminar flow? The laminar flow is a slow moving flow as opposed to the other 4 technologies that is a turbulent flow. So turbulent flow is napakagulo. Laminar flow is dahan-dahan na flow. What is the purpose of the laminar flow? The laminar flow makes the bacteria swim. Bacteria goes out from the biotube, makes it swim. When they start asking for oxygen, the laminar flow makes the bacteria go and breathe in the atmosphere. So the oxygen bacteria interface happen because of the laminar flow. So what is that? Just like us, when we go to the swimming pool or to the beach, when we swim or when we go swim inside without oxygen, we have to go up and breathe for air. The same as aerobic bacteria, they have to breathe for air. The only thing is the technology, because of the laminar flow, they are breathing for air and they are making sure that the whole tank is saturated with air so the bacteria can grow faster. So that is how the biopinner works. Okay, so further, when wastewater comes in, as I mentioned, wastewater goes with different kinds of bacteria. The good bacteria from biocleaner technology, from the biotube, represented by this green, outnumbered or outcompete the other bacteria coming in. So if they are outcompeting the other bacteria coming in, of course the other bacteria cannot eat because they are the one eating the food. The other bacteria will die. Once this bacteria die, then this bacteria will eat them. The good microbes digest the bad microbes. And when they die, they form the sludge, and the bacteria further, the good bacteria, digest the sludge, eat all the sludge. So in short, all solid waste coming in, including bacteria, including themselves, kung namamatay na sila, because bacteria is a living organism, they will die. Once they die, these bacteria exponentially propagate and eat all of them, resulting in no more solid that comes out to the effluent. So this is the explanation why this technology is an emerging technology, because it does not use so much electricity and it does not produce the solids. So in essence, this is a technology which is smaller, can be replaced, can be relocated, environmentally independent from the tank. You can put this anywhere. Low maintenance costs. If there's problem, you can just pull it up and repair. Unlike those other 4 technologies, you have to make sure to drain all the wastewater from the tank and repair the diffusers underneath. On one thing as well, because this is a remediation process. There is no odor because there is a remediation that breaks down the odor into carbon dioxide. So no sludge handling, no chemical usage, In essence, this is very advantageous. We, for the first time, Aquagem has been awarded to install this technology in Manila, and it is ongoing under Engineer Obit Akot, who's with us here. And I will tell you, this is a very good technology if properly managed. So, BioCleaner technology is just selling this technology, this one. But Aquagem incorporate this kind of technology to the overall design of the process. So BioCleaner is just only this one. The BioCleaner company sell this one, but Aquagem makes sure to design the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary treatment process. So they are claiming that they can do only BioCleaner, but Aquagem does not believe in that. Aquagem says we need to have pre-treatment and we need also to have final treatment. We make use of this BioCleaner technology because it has low operating cost. Kung low operating cost, then owners of wastewater treatment facility or owners of facility or commercial establishment would not have difficulty in maintaining, putting so much money in operating a sewage treatment facility, thus ensuring compliance to the Clean Water Act without much cost. Okay, so in summary, in my technical explanation as an engineer, why this is a low capital expense. Eh, wala ng clarifier, wala ng sludge dewatering equipment. There is no big blowers, there are no diffusers. So naturally, the capital expense is low. Why there is low operational expense? There is no huge air blowers, there is no pumps and equipments anymore. So ang kuryente would be very, very low. Why there is no blowers and air diffusers? Because it only utilizes a small mixer for bacterial movement, laminar flow, to take oxygen from the atmosphere so that the bacteria can take oxygen from the atmosphere. Why there is no sludge? The bacteria is called saprubic bacteria. This will devour all dead solid matters, including dead bacteria. That is why no sludge is generated. Continuous accelerated pace. If you are a microbiologist, bacteria exponentially accelerate, but when there's no more food, they start to die. But this pace, they are not allowing stationary pace to come up. They always has on the go. The bacteria is the patented technology of BioCleaner, and this is being incorporated in Aquagem design. Okay, now further, this new standard by the DNR requires very small amount of ammonia. So we also have a technology because ammonia is generated because in waste there is ammonium, then it breaks into nitrate and nitrate. Then what happens is that the bacteria breaks them down to form nitrogen gas and energy and hydroxide if there is food. That is called nitrification and denitrification process, important in sewage treatment plant. Now, this treatment has both aerobic and anoxic zone. The bacteria forms the aerobic and anoxic zone. That's why they are able to have one layer of denitrifying bacteria, one layer of nitrifying bacteria, another layer of removal of phosphorus, one layer of bacteria removing the BOD that we have mentioned earlier. So this technology really is the future technology. Now, because the ammonia is very, very low, 0.5 ppm requirement by the DNR, BioCleaner has also come up with ammonia booster. This is only for those very difficult wastewater that cannot meet 0.5. Okay, phosphorus removal. Phosphorus removal requires also, we can put sludge, we can put different requirements, coagulants in treatment plant. But for BioCleaner, they have invented an ion exchange process to trap the phosphorus. So by ion exchange. So this is just the explanation of chemical processes. So we can also solve them by phosphate removal, either by coagulation or by ion exchange process. Aquagem can do that. Before I end my presentation, I will show to you the case study in Honduras about this technology. So this is the lagoon of that place in Honduras. This is the facultative lagoon. They put BioCleaner because you see there is so much algal bloom, nutrients already happening. So there is phosphorus and nitrates. There's nitrates so much. So when they put 12 units of the biocleaner, they were able to stabilize the lagoon. And you look what happened after that. They have cleaned the lagoon after putting the biocleaner treatment. And this is the result of the laboratory. The effluent standard does not meet was not met earlier, but when they put the biocleaner, they were able to meet that in the lagoon. Okay, so there was 95% reduction of COD, 97% reduction of BOD, a 99% reduction of oil and grease, 99% reduction of coliform. And don't be surprised, this technology has received an environmental technology verification, not in America, but in the Philippines. It has received an environmental technology verification by DOST, Industrial Technology Development Institute, because of their test in one of the estero in Manila. So they have come up, the Philippine Geosynthetic Company, which is a Philippine company, uses this before and came up with this test in one of the estero in Manila. So with that, I have finished my presentation. And to summarize, if you are going to decide which technology, this is one of our proposals. SBR, electromechanical, was 22 million. Biocleaner, 20 million. Civil works, kasi kailangan ng tanke. The SBR was bigger, biocleaner was smaller. So if you total the capital cost, it has a difference of 6 million in that particular food industry that we have offered. So 6 million. For the operating cost, it's very clear that the electricity is very 75% less for biocleaner technology. All others, chemicals, maintenance, manpower are also low. To summarize, biocleaner has 58% less operational expense. And biocleaner offers 10-year warranty on their bacteria not to die as long as they are being properly operated. This is their warranty, 10-year warranty on biocleaner. So we are challenging you, participants. We can offer pilot project as part of the contract and don't get payment if it does not work. This is what biocleaner offers. When it works, either you pay the cost of the pilot work or sign a new contract for a larger capacity. With that, it ends our presentation. And in order for you to contact us, so these are our numbers. Take note of our numbers. You can always email us. You can always call us. We are all over the place. Our head office is in Tagbilaran City, Bohol, Philippines. Being me, I'm from Bohol. We have our engineers there. We have our people in Northern Luzon, in Ilagan City. We have our biggest project. Engineer Sheila Raimondo and Engineer John is there. In Mindanao, we have partners in Cagayan de Oro. We have Fatima May Peñas. We have Felix Iraq and Sonia in Davao City. We have our liaison office. Dene Santos is our sales representative in Manila. And of course, Engineer Obit Akot is based in Manila. He is the one answering your concern, visiting your place. And this is our email address. This is our website. You can look at our website. You can go to our website. You can call us. I'm based in Melbourne. I'm always free to have my email address. I'm in LinkedIn. I'm in Facebook. I'm in everywhere. So with that ends our presentation, and we hope that you gain something. And we have now having the opportunity to have question and answers. So let me ask if Director William Cunado is still there. Yeah, I think Director William Cunado is still there. I would like to recognize Assistant Director Visminda Osorio is also there. I would like to request you, Sir William and Ma'am AD Minda, to please open your what you call your video, and because this is now answering or trying to answer our questions. So Engineer Visminda Osorio is the Assistant Director of the Environmental Management Bureau. She will be the one who will be making a closing remarks after this. Should I say, I would welcome um, AD Osorio to make a closing remark. Then we go for an answer and question portion. Okay, so Ma'am Minda, AD Minda, are you there? Are you able to hear and talk to us? Yeah, yeah. Let me. Oh, how are you, ma'am?
Hello,
Oh,
maayong
nasa opisina,
buntag.
you're in the office, maayong buntag, and with us, so can I request you to make a closing remark for this one because earlier where I was not able to see you online, so there was Director William. I'm not sure where is Director William in
Nandyan
Cebu
si
or
D?
in the office.
Oo.
Yes, he is there, and he was already here. Yeah, there he is. Okay, so before the answer question, and we have several questions, and some of the questions I could not answer because these are questions for the regulatory agency for the AMB. So before I provide the the question and answer portion, let me give you Assistant Director of the Environmental Management Bureau, a very good friend as well, uh, the Assistant Director Minda Osorio, the Assistant Director of EMB. Go. Our topic, mom, is about Clean Water Act, and I would request you to say some closing remarks, and after that, would request you to stay for answering some of the questions. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Cecil. So, first of all, to our director, nandyan na pala si Director William and of course si Cecil Corlencito, who is the head of the Aquagem Environmental Consultancy Service. Sa lahat, all the participants in this webinar on innovative wastewater management for the local government units and of course our industry partners. So let me congratulate the organizer of this webinar, the Aquagem Environmental Consultancy Service, for their initiative and ambitious and innovative approach in pursuit of offering quality yet compliant with the laws and adherent to health and safety management services. So I would also like to express my appreciation to of course our director and undersecretary Mitch Kuna for showing also their support on this seminar and where we can of course strengthen and deepen our scientific and technical knowledge and eventually develop new innovative technology for sustainable and resilient water management amidst the climate change and the ongoing pandemic. So as water demand increases due to population growth, rapid urbanization, and the need for smart water and wastewater management is becoming more evident than ever. So right now, currently, wastewater is treated with methods that often do not detect microcontaminants such as, of course, yung ating mga pesticides, the pharmaceuticals, high performance chemicals, and other emerging pollutants due to their small size, chemical properties, and persistency. So protection of the environment is very challenging and may it be on the part of local government, industries, mga consultants natin and advocator, the implementer, or even on our part as EMB, who is the regulatory body. So there are many challenges that we must overcome in order for these innovations in wastewater management grow into positive outcomes. So first is the perception of sustainable designs being unjustifiable experience or investments. So traditionally, setting up waste water facilities is merely for compliance with environmental laws uh, and safeguards, and putting aside other opportunities such as the resource recovery options. So the resource recovery approach stems from the circular economy concept, wherein waste is considered a valuable resource from which multiple products can be derived. So in order to understand the essence of a sustainable design, we need a holistic approach that determines whether a design is environmentally, economically, and socially sustainable over the long period or term. And another critical challenge for sustainable design is the adoption or acceptance of innovative technologies. So water and wastewater facilities have traditionally been public-owned facilities. And the adoption of these new technologies has been viewed with skepticism due to fear or failure. We have to remind ourselves that new technologies do not necessarily mean cutting edge technology, but also processes that were not previously implemented by other utility in this country. So to hasten the adoption of these innovations, a collaboration with the right stakeholders like the manufacturers, the academe, and of course yung ating mga consultants is needed to prove its viability and secure capital investment and minimize the risk of failure and achieve successful implementation. So by collaborating to validate new technologies, we can demonstrate the tangible benefits of incorporating sustainability into wastewater systems designs. And of course, this won't happen overnight. But I hope that through this webinar and with the progressive thinking and commitment, tapping and collaborating with the right people around us, we can lead the way without compromising the bottom line. So, of course, let me extend once again my gratitude and appreciation to all the participants here, and of course to Aqua Gem Environmental Consultancy Service for organizing this webinar meeting. So with that, thank you very much and maayong buntag sa tanan. Good morning. Mayong
Okay,
udto na di ay.
so please don't
Thank
unmute.
you,
Please don't
Cecil.
unmute yourself. Don't remove yourself from the video because this is now question time. There are several
Oh,
questions that they have chatted. I will be reading them, and I would encourage to, if there are still questions, to put that on the chat. If there is an opportunity to talk, just raise your hand so that you try to ask the questions. If there is somebody who wants to ask the question, I will make sure that this will be taken. Let me start by reading all the questions here, and first and foremost, all those presentation materials that we have presented will be available on Aquagem website. So all previous webinars are there, and we will also be putting this in our website. So there's no need for us to send it to you. You just go to our website and you will be able to see all this presentation. Now, the other one is the certificate of, I know that some of you are from government agencies, you need the certificate. Of course, we will be issuing a certificate of attendance, as long as on record you are able to, because we have monitored, we have our IT monitoring you to make sure that you are there during the whole process. Make sure that your name is properly recorded and renamed. We cannot issue a certificate with a name that is not fit and proper. Okay, so if there are further questions, you have our contacts. But prior to that, before that, we will have to go to the second round, which is question and answer. So first, this question is coming from Jiman Acohedo. He says, and I quote, Sir Engineer Cecil, tanong ko lang po, your company have tried to treat ocean seawater into potable water? Kasi nakita ko po ng isang NGO na successfully treated ocean converted into potable water used by African people. I think Ziman has read yesterday's World Water Day. At World Water Day, this one was presenting the conversion of seawater into potable water. Yes, it is very possible. It's not impossible. The only problem with converting seawater to potable water is it's very expensive because it's called desalination. So desalination is still very expensive, and in the Philippines, we still have a lot of water, and desalination can also play some role, but it depends on place to place. So my answer to that, yes, it's possible to treat water, treat seawater into drinking water. In fact, yun ang wastewater treatment used in the Middle East. So there's another question. Sir, good morning. Are septic tanks effective in treating brackish water, seawater, if used in flushing of toilets? Septic tanks are not designed for brackish water or seawater. This is only designed for domestic wastewater coming from buildings and houses. So even if you put seawater in, maybe this is possible in some resorts, because when it's high tide, maybe it goes to the septic tank, so it will spoil the purpose of the septic tank. Okay, so I think the next question is coming from EnviroConsult Rick Cinco, and I would like to direct this question to the Environmental Management Bureau, particularly to the director or the assistant director, and I will read. Marami pong LGU and water district ang hindi pa rin na-implement ng seepage ordinance through enacted way back 5 to 7 years due to various reasons like pandemic, ASF, and elections. Ang mga bayang ito ay kabilang sa original na 6 provinces mandated by Supreme Court mandamus on Manila Bay cleanup. Wala po bang magagawa ang gobyerno to ensure the compliance na pagpapaganda ng batas na ito, or RE 9275 or Clean Water Act of 2004? So I'll give this floor. I don't have the authority to answer that question. I give this, I hope you don't mind, Director William, to answer that question. Would you like me to repeat that question, or are you able to read that question, sir? So
okay, thank you very much, Cecil, for that questions, and thank you very much for the EnviroConsult Rick for raising that questions. One thing I would like to say, we have done things to improve the safety. In fact, the existence of EnviroConsult is the one thing that we have an output that we did apart, but not a 100% yet at this moment. Not that we have not do nothing about it. That is the sayings that we cannot do it alone in this aspect, and we are very thankful by EnviroConsult for being there to solve to share a part of solving the septage problems in relation for that issues and concerns. And in fact, we have a lot of operators. There's also doing their job in relation for that. But the issue here is is not only one stakeholders involved. That is also involved on the supplier, the bulk suppliers of that, and the local government unit, as well as the department of. I'm not throwing anybody these issues and concern, because this is issues and concern for everybody. And also very thankful with the organizer for this one, especially Cecil, for doing this to educate a lot of investors on what are the things to be done if you have to put up a treatment facilities and how much the cost, because we are talking here of cost in relation to solve the problem of the wastewater, and especially for the industries. Take note, if you have visited what I said before our website, if you have to look at our websites in terms of the compliance of DP, there are a lot of people wants to comply in relations to the wastewater. But the issue here is mostly on the requirements. So that's why I'm trying to improve these requirements in order to increase the compliance, particularly on the industries, because we have returned almost to 23,000 applications of just because they failed to comply a lot of requirements. But the bottom point here is we are talking here of what is the most important requirements in order that we will not destroy our environments. It's a matter of the effluent discharge coming from different industries, not only from industries, but also the household discharge. That is about 60% of the volume, the wastewater, to 70% coming from the household. And the big player here is mostly the local government to put up a sewerage treatment facilities and to be have a joint venture of the both suppliers of the water. So that is the priority of Secretary Smato, that we have to resolve these issues and concerns. And I hope a lot of howlers will bring this wastewater to a proper treatment facilities instead of throwing it to the water bodies that will add more pollutions. Good for the environmental concerns are doing their job, but how about of the others howlers are not doing their job, and we cannot watch them, and we cannot monitor them daily in relation to properly treat their wastewater that is removed or extract from different septic tanks of the household. If you are engaged of this type of business in hauling septage, I hope before you will engage this, you have a very adequate and effective treatment facilities instead of hauling and engage these facilities, this hauler without adequate treatment facilities. I'm also calling all the concerned residents or household that please do not engage these hauler who have no treatment facilities, effective treatment facilities, just for the sake that you have to remove your sludge of your septic tank and bring it to any body of waters discharge it. So please visit our website who are legitimate haulers with adequate treatment facilities that could handle and treat their septic tanks. Because if our residents or citizens will patronize this illegal hauler without treatment facilities, instead of contributing to solve our problems of wastewater, we are adding more pollution to our water bodies. So it's high time now for us to be concerned of our wastewater, because this is a call for everybody, not only the concerned agency, but the call for everybody, because number one, we are all producing and discharging wastewater. And that is also a responsibility to clean up those wastewater and to have a proper treatment in handling this wastewater being discharged by different household, industries, or local government unit. So that's the bottom point now here, that I'm calling everybody to do their job in relation to the wastewater, because that's very important for us now, especially we have a scarcity of water or a treated water to be recycled as to be used as water supply. Thank you very much, Cecil, for that opportunity.
Okay, sir, maraming salamat at we are going beyond our time, but some people are going out. But let me also have one question from J. Alvaro, and this is also, sir, being asked and directed, and I would like to read. Sir Cecil, you mentioned about siponing of septages. Do we have an accredited authorized hauler siponing services by DNR EMB for siponing of septic tanks? Can I ask the question? So many questions also, Director, being asked. Do you have accreditation from DNR that you are a good designer, something like that? So let me ask you, is DNR MMB authorizing or accrediting siponing or septages or designing of septage treatment plant? So that's the question.
No, actually, we are not giving some accreditation to any designs. We just only
Okay.
welcome to all the designers who will contribute further. The only proof that this design is efficient once it passed the standard. And if you want to know who are those haulers who are compliant with our environmental laws in terms of Clean Water Act, you can visit our website and look at who are those compliance haulers and safety operators. We publish that in our website. We just only publish the compliance. We don't want to compromise and make enemies to those non-compliance. But what we are seeing here, those compliance are already published on the websites, and that's why I'm saying it that we are encouraging all the citizens to patronize those compliance industries in relation to the wastewater hauling. And we have a lot of these industries already now. So in our website, we are putting the compliance. I don't want to put any non-compliance industries. It is up to the non-compliant industries to do their part, to be part of these compliant industries in the business. We are trying to improve and visitors of our websites up to 100,000 visitors, and that's the way that we can disseminate that these people are doing their job, and those people who are not included in the list are not doing their job in relation to put and help to have a clean environment. You can
Okay,
visit
that's very clear.
in the website.
Yeah, very clear. J. Alvaro and the rest of the questions. There is a list in the website for those who are compliant, so meaning they have discharge permit, they have ECC, they are complying. Meaning, if you are not on the list, it's very clear that you are not in compliance because you are not in the list. But we are not posting, or the DNR EMB is not posting those who are not compliant. There's no shame and fame something there, but the list is for those who are in compliance. So that's a good question, and let me. Okay, Director William. I think after you have requested, you have something to say further about the whole thing, because some of the questions here can be answered separately. It's not general. So I will give the floor to Director Cunado if you want to say further. But before you do that, sir, let me ask a question myself to you. And
Okay.
being the environmental regulator in the Philippines, not only in Manila, but in the whole of the Philippines, you are managing not only 9 to 75, you are managing very different laws or related laws like Republic Act 9 to 75, Republic Act 9003, Republic Act 6969 for toxic and hazardous waste, the EIA law of the Philippines, Republic Act, Clean Air Act. So those are in your plate, in your hands. So first question, do you think that the current situation of your structure needs further improvement or good enough for you to successfully implement all of these requirements, particularly in the Clean Water Act?
Yeah. Actually, Cecil, at this point in time, I'm trying to improve the systems of the Clean Water Act. As I said, we need to improve the system that will get a help and support from different sectors, especially those sectors who are producing wastewater and not doing to make it clean before it will be discharged. So we're trying to improve the requirements. In fact, I said before that we have to reduce the requirements that will focus only the compliance of the Clean Water Act, which is we need only the laboratory results for different wastewater coming from different industries. So in that sense, if we have to require a laboratory results from different industries and local government unit, next question now here is, do we have enough laboratory who could cater all the wastewater that will be get a sample and get a results for that? And I'm telling you, we don't have enough laboratory to address and give a results for all the industries. That's approximately that's 150 industries, 150,000 industries that are discharging. So we try to improve the numbers of accredited, recognized third-party laboratory. We try to minimize the requirements, but focus on the objectives of the mandates of this office to have a clean water without compromising the water quality. So we want to improve our system because we saw it that there is a need to improve the systems to have a proper coordination. And we're also trying to improve again in terms of the monitoring. If we can link and use the system that instead of going to different establishment, we will establish an online monitoring system that will link the results and the database will be incorporated in our operation centers. If we can do that, not only in the straight discharge, but all the lakes and coastal area, if we have that data and we have that information in our central center operation center in central office that will be established maybe in or the first week of this month, first week of April or end of this March, we can already establish our command center, operation center here. Then we can have a very good monitoring instead of face-to-face monitoring, considering that we have a pandemic now. If we can establish that system, that we will have a virtual monitoring and have a online monitoring, that's the way that we can have a very effective way of monitoring our wastewater discharge from different countries. Yes, Cecil, we need to improve our system. That's why we are doing it now, and we are on the way to do that. And we are looking forward ahead, like you, to help us on how we can make it more efficient, and other different stakeholders who are also in love to have this water management, especially in the wastewater discharge. So this is a call for collaboration, cooperation from different sectors who love to have a clean water of our environment. And with that, probably that's why we are always appreciating those people in our website to consider their input and their contributions. And we're trying, this is a part of commendation them, that we recognize their effort, that they are doing their job in relation to the water management. So we need that, and if we have to do that in the future, and we are going to do that probably within this year, we can dramatically improve our water quality, water management in the throughout the Philippines. With impact, we have already a system that we can link all the regional office in 5 minutes. We can get all the information using our integrated information systems. With that system, if we have to link that all nationwide, we can immediately give informations to all our citizens and clients what is really the status of the application in relation to discharge permit. So with this, applying the technology, this will help us to make a better and improved water management system. Thank you very much.
Okay. There was that.
At the same time,
Okay, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. At the same time, I will take this opportunity that try again. I have to repeat. Try to visit again in our website. Who are those industries are compliance, and who are those pending requirements? Because on that aspect, we will always consider and patronize the compliant industries in relation to the water, because this is the most important thing, and we have a list compliant for this environmental laws. We try to improve that we can reach about 90% compliant within this year. So by doing a new approach that we will have to post condition all different requirements, but the priority one is the laboratory result from different industries wastewater. So that's one thing that we are going to do that and improve our systems in terms of monitoring. So with that, again, I would like to emphasize that the pollution control officer accreditation, we try to improve our systems, that we will never give you a pollution accredited certificate once that the new guidelines, amendment guidelines will be approved by secretary, that you will be called a pollution control officer accredited, provided that you have already complied that permits that is required in our office, discharge permit, PTO, and other permits. And then that's the time we will give you a certificate or commendation that you are a pollution control accredited. Without compliance with that requirements, we will give you only an acknowledge only as you are being a designated or appointed pollution control officer from different industries who appoint you. So if you will be called accredited PCO, you have already a compliance in relation to environmental laws. If you fail to comply this and you have an existing and your existing pollution accredited pollution officer, your accreditation will be suspended once we have sent you a notice of violation that there is no compliance in relation to the discharge permit. Hopefully, within these systems, we can improve the compliance with the cooperations of the pollution control officer and a certain or any industries that there are just not compliance in relation to environmental laws. So with this scheme or system that we will recall those accreditation, or we will have to get it back if you have already complied the environmental laws. So I hope this approach will help us and will encourage more cooperation from different pollution control officers and also the training institution, because we are requiring them, the training institution, to have 80% of their training to have to compliance in terms of the environmental laws. List of that 80% of their training compliance may be subject for them to explain why there is a less compliance in relation to their training, and probably there's something wrong and there's something things to be improved in their training to make this train PCO to be compliant in terms of environmental laws. So there is a big role for the training institution that this pollution control officer will be compliant. Otherwise, if you have to look at the statistics in relation to the compliance of the train PCO by the different institutions, there's a very low compliance. Probably there's only 7% to 10% of the total train PCO. What we are looking here is compliance, especially the discharge permit. But how come that's only 7 to 10% compliance of the train PCO? Are we getting the objective to make our environment clean with a low performance in relation to the train PCO? So hopefully we can improve and get cooperation of different sectors, the PCO, the designated PCO, the training institutions, all the rest. all the industries, we will have a better environment discharge, and we will have a clean water that will be discharged in our water bodies. With that, I'm looking forward that this will happen in a year. If we can make it this year with a strong cooperation of different sectors, we will achieve that our water bodies will be clean, as Secretary Simato is trying to do, and to have a dream to have a clean water nationwide, not only in Manila Bay. Thank you very much, Cecil, and to all the participants.
So before you go, sir, we will be issuing you a certificate of appreciation. So I would like to tell the office to show that certificate of appreciation to this guys. It's almost 12 o'clock now. It's lunchtime there. So marami pang question, but we will be answering them. I think what the good director was saying, that if you cannot comply, then you will not be issued with the necessary certificate. There's one question: are you giving certificate for Poso Negro howler? I don't know. This question coming: are you issuing accreditation or certificate or permit to sludge howler?
Actually, the howling permit will be given by the local government unit. We don't
Okay.
control and regulate the howler. And we are only regulating the treater who receive this howl wastewater from different howler to the to the STP operator. But
Okay.
as I said, we don't regulate the permits for this different howler.
There's another pahabol question, sir. If a facility is covered by LLDA, had a water pollution case, does that affect the EMB PCO renewal application, or if the violation is of concern under LLDA? So this is a question from Judy Ann Garcia.
Actually, we have a very close coordination with LLDA. So whatever we have established a guidelines, they will have also to adapt. Because we have only one secretary. LD is still under the supervision. I believe this is still under supervision of Secretary Simato. So if we have established these guidelines, this DAO, then they will be forced to comply on the guidelines also. So I'm not preempting the LLDA, but that's the way I look at it in relation to the implementations of the DAO administrative order to be issued by Secretary.
Okay, so with that, I think we are close to the finishing line, except that Ismail is issuing, our office issued a certificate of appreciation presented to Engineer William Cunyado as guest speaker during this pre-webinar on innovative wastewater management held on March 23, 2021. Signed, Engineer Cecil Coloncito, Aquagem Environment Managing Director. This is presented to Director Engineer William Cunyado. Let's give a round of applause. Another certificate of appreciation, the office. So, nandun. So, certificate of appreciation is issued also to Engineer Bisminda A. Osorio as guest speaker during the pre-webinar Innovative Wastewater Management held on March 23, 2021. So let's give a round of applause to Assistant Director Bisminda Osorio. And this comes to a close, and if you're still there, we are still around. And Eddie Minda and Director Cunyado, marami daghang kayong salamat sa pagpaunlak, at I know you're busy people during this time of pandemic. You're working from different places. I am here in Australia. I miss you guys. I have not been back there. So hopefully the Philippine situation will be improved based on the development around despite this pandemic. So with that, and with all that, more than 250 participants, we would like to appreciate and thank you for all your attentive attention during this 2-hour event, more than 2 hours already. And we are very lucky because this heads and leaders of the Environmental Management Bureau of the Philippines have given you the insight. And again, go to their website, ask questions in their website. All the informations are available there. And I know also that directly you can send email to them. Then under the ARTA law, I know that this office are going to respond to you in 3 days about what we have tried that already. When we send an email, there is always a response. So to all the people in the Philippines, the Environmental Management Bureau is one office that will respond to your environmental needs. But they are also the regulator that will run after scalawags, run after those who are violating our sacred environmental laws that is supposed to protect our waterways and all medium of the environment. So thank you very much and have a good day. It's already lunchtime there. See you and have a great day to each and every one of you. Sir, salamat.
Aquagym Environment, Environmental, Engineering, and Management Consultancy. We offer ISO management systems, legal compliance, water and wastewater solutions. Aquagym Environment, leading you to a sustainable future.
you.